Hi, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are at. Welcome to the CanvasCon Encore sessions, where we have selected a few of the presentations from CanvasCon USF from this past Monday's conference. I'm going to hand it over to Ryan, who will do an encore presentation of his session. Ryan, good morning.
Good morning, everyone, or as where I'm speaking, good afternoon, being a 1:30 in the afternoon. So wherever you're at, good morning or good night or good evening. So I'm here to do an encore of the CanvasCon presentation that I did at the University of South Florida over in Tampa on Monday. So let's jump in. So my session today, it says it's a little different from the title that we have here, but essentially it's, let's catch up. Let's catch up on the mobile apps. Let's talk a little bit about where they've been and where they're going, because I think everyone's really excited to find better ways to use the mobile apps and also newer ways to use the mobile apps moving forward. So who am I? So my name's Ryan Steelhammer. I am from the University of Central Florida. I'm an instructional designer where I have a caseload of 50 faculty members, roughly 50 to 55, that I work with to build, design and build online courses for the university. And I'm also a mobile product manager where I manage the UCF mobile app, which is our main campus app for everything, student life information, et cetera. And I also lead the CDL mobile initiative here at UCF, and I've been doing that since 2010. So I concentrate on doing many different things related to mobile learning and mobile research. Did many surveys and have lots of information. And you'll see in my slides today, I like to use a lot of data to discuss the things that I'm part of. So Canvas. So a little bit about me and Canvas. Been a Canvas user since 2012, since we moved to Canvas here at UCF. I've been a Canvassador since 2014. You can find a lot about the Canvassador program inside the Canvas community. I'm also a Canvas coach, so if you've been in the community and you see coaches all around, I'm one of them. I specifically focus on mobile, so if you ask a question about mobile inside of the Canvas community, most likely I will see it, and most likely I will chime in and answer it as well and continue that discussion. And I'm also, started the Canvas Mobile User Group, also known as CMUG, in 2013 as like a grassroots thing for Google Hangout, and now it's in the Canvas community for everyone to enjoy. So feel free to check that out in the Canvas community as well. But yeah, so that's my Canvas history. Call this, I guess it's the 4 C's of Canvas. So this could be a typical day at my desk. So if you're at my desk one day, you might see me doing this. In this situation, I'm here comparing iOS version of Canvas to the Android version of Canvas, and really trying to see the differences that are there. It's really important for me to do this, and I do a lot of research into the Canvas mobile apps. But really, what a lot of people come and ask me about is just mobile learning in general. They say, "Oh, what's your favorite app?" Or "How would you use an app in the classroom?" Or "What's your favorite way of engaging with students one-to-one?" And when I really start thinking about what mobile learning means, for a lot of people, it should probably look similar to this. You have students sitting around talking about mobile applications, or using the mobile applications to learn face-to-face in a classroom. Or it could look like this, a teacher engaging with a student talking about different things as well. Well, to me, mobile learning means something a lot different, because I have a history with online learning. I've been doing online learning now for 17 years. So it's different for me being in higher education. The way I see mobile learning is I see the student. I see the student by themselves. I see a student out and about. I see a student maybe taking photos on a Vista, or maybe rolling around in a field. But anyways, the idea of it is that it's a very solitary experience. And it's something that students are still learning, but they're keeping their learning going away from the computer, away from the classroom. And at the heart of that, for us, is the Canvas mobile app. So why is mobile important to me? So I always said, and I even wrote an article for Canvas about 2 years ago, basically your students are using mobile devices even if you aren't. And we do a lot of different research here at UCF to really figure out how students, what students are using and how they're using it. And what we found at UCF is 99% of students own a smartphone, and 67% of students own a tablet. So basically with smartphones, we really don't have an issue with students. We have no issue with students owning these devices. So it's not as hard to implement these things because they're owning these devices, and as the years go on, the technology is better and better, and you can do more things. And with tablet ownership over 50%, it's very important to us. So if we were a one-to-one school, a K-12 school, this might be a little bit different. You might see more tablet usage, but for higher education, this is pretty much the norm. But we always get asked, ownership is one thing, but does ownership really equal usage? So at UCF, we asked that question. We found out that 91% of students use a desktop or a laptop for learning at least once a week. That should surprise no one. And when I say for learning, I'm focusing on anything that supports their learning. This could be looking up terms. This could be communicating with other people in their class about their classwork, or communicating with the teacher. This is anything to support their learning. But when we look at the mobile device, we're at 82%. That's not very far behind the 91%. So you can see it's still a very vital piece of technology to support their learning. At UCF, we have 37%. Yet again, not a one-to-one school, K through 12. It isn't something that students value as much for their learning, but it still is 37% of our 64,000 students. So it's still a large part and something that we got to make sure that we're keeping in mind when we develop content. So let's talk a little bit about the Canvas mobile apps. And these three apps at the top are the ones that you've probably seen the most. So the first one here on the left is what I call the red app. It's the main Canvas app. Most of you have probably used that before. The one in the center is SpeedGrader. Gives you SpeedGrader functions while you're on the go. And all the way to the left, we have Canvas Parent. And Canvas Parent is an app for parents or families to be able to monitor their students. There's also even more apps. At the bottom here, you have polls for doing polling in your class. You in the center here, you have Magic Marker for doing outcomes. And all the way here on the right, you have Teacher Tools, which is like a pet project, hack day thing that Instructure has released that has a couple different tools for Android only. So you can see there's a lot of different ways to go. And if you're a new user, or even if you've been using the app for a while, you have to sit back and think, like, where do I go? And I've always kind of joked, it's probably looked something similar to this, where, why don't you just use a wheel? You're using a lot of different content, kind of moving back and forth. So it's quite confusing for the user as they move forward. So if you went to InstructureCon last year, you may have seen this slide. And the idea of taking these apps and building them down to something that makes a lot more sense is something that is being considered. So there's some realities that are that all Canvas users face and the developers for Instructure, is that Canvas is big and screens are small. So Canvas is really large. So you have a lot of information in there. And what information, you can't necessarily move all that information down to a small screen, but what information is really important? And how do they move that down to fit on smartphones and tablets and things of different form factors? And also, people are different. You might have a teacher that just wants to facilitate a course. You might have a student that says, hey, I just want to take a course, and that's what's important to me. Then also you have your parents that say, I want to support my student as well. And there's other roles, we understand that, but these are pretty major roles. This covers the majority of people that either use or have some interest in using mobile apps on the go when it's related to Canvas. So I'm going to talk about three apps today. And the first one I'm going to talk about briefly is the Parent app. So the Parent app came out last year. It's called Canvas Parent, and it's available for iPhone, iPod Touch, and iPad. So it covers your iOS devices and Android phones and tablets. And the short short TLDR for this is Canvas to monitor students' progress. And here's the login screen to Canvas Parent. And as I said before, it makes it easy for families to monitor students' progress. So students can log in. Parents can either log in by creating a parent account and being able to log in for their school, or observer role, depending on how the school has it set up. And this is an application that has to be turned on by whatever school wants to use it. So this isn't something that's on by default. So if you try to connect to this for your school and you can't, you want to contact your admins or appropriate people in that school and ask them if this is something they'll be offering. So with Canvas Parent, there's a couple different things you can do. You can view course grades. So you're able to go in, find a student, and view their grades. Simple as that. So you can always stay on top of how their grades look in the class. You can view assignment descriptions and due dates. So right here, as you can see in the screenshot, I'm able to see when it's due, look at the description. But there's also something I can do. I can actually set a reminder as well to remind me to send me an alert before an assignment is due, so that I can ask my students about that. I can ask my kids about that as well. So there's a lot of good alerts in here for families. Set grade alerts. So maybe I want a grade alert when their course grade goes above or below a certain point, or maybe they miss an assignment, or maybe on an assignment they scored a 70%. Anything below a 70% or above a 90% I want to know about. So you have the ability to do that as well. And the one thing that I always get asked about is using this with advisors. And the only thing I could say about with advisors is right now, from my understanding, the app is set to only support 12 students. So right now it would be kind of a stretch for advisors to use. But this is something that I'm sure is being considered in future releases as well. So that's it with Canvas Parent. Pretty simple right now. Go ahead and download it and check it out. Now I'm going to move on to Canvas by Instructure. So this is the big Canvas app. This is the one that's been around for the longest and gives us, as you see, Canvas in your pocket. It's available for iOS devices and Android devices. And I just wanted to give you some background into this before we even talk about any features. So Canvas by the numbers. So in March 2017, it was reported that 3.1 million unique Canvas mobile users per month use the app. So it has a lot of users. When you look at per day, we have 1.1 million unique users per day. And now they're nearing 10 million lifetime downloads for iOS and Android. So there's a lot of people that have these on their devices all over the world. And it's also the highest rated LMS app for Android and iOS. So this isn't just an application that's important to people. It's actually a pretty good application that people use quite often. As you can see here, this is from August of last year, right at the beginning of the school year. You can see that Canvas by Instructure was number 29 in the free charts in the Apple App Store. It's pretty high. It's above things like Google Drive, Microsoft Outlook. But it can't beat Solitaire. You know, the Solitaire is right there at 27. So people need their education, but they need the Solitaire just a little bit more. So every year since 2014, I guess this is our 4th year doing this, we have a survey where we ask our students about the Canvas mobile apps. And we're always looking to find out how they're using it and what's important to them. So I'm just going to go over just a few short highlights about this. So the question we ask them every year is, do you use the Canvas mobile app? And the answer was this year we had about we had over 800 responses, almost 900 responses. 90% said yes, we use the Canvas mobile app. The other 10%, 4% say mobile web only, and 6% say never, I don't touch the app. And what's really funny is with the 4%, the biggest reason why they didn't use it is they didn't know it existed. We thought it might be lack of features or something that they saw as a problem, but 30% of the students said, yeah, I didn't even know it existed. So there's an awareness issue there as well. But the question again is using it. I use it, but does that mean I use it once a month, once a year, only once? So we asked them, how often do you actually use this? 95% said they use it at least once a week. So those 90% of the students that actually use the app, 95% of them use it at least once a week. So that's pretty often. And if you break that down even further, 48% use it several times a day, and 37% use it several times a day. So you can see that they're using it pretty frequently. Students are using these pretty frequently to get in and to support their learning, whether with Canvas. And for the first time, we always ask different questions every year. So this year we asked a slightly different question. And the question is, what is your preferred method for receiving notifications for Canvas? And 14% said text. This is how I want my notifications that I set. 14%. 32% said email, which completely surprised me And some of us around here because we thought email would be totally number one. But 53% said they prefer push notifications. Totally surprised us. So you can see that the push notification feature inside the application is important to these students that are receiving these notifications. So let me get back to Canvas by Instructure when we talk about the features. So Canvas by Instructure has a lot of features. You don't have to read all these features. I just put this up here for effect. A lot of different things going on. It allows you to do many different things. A lot of it's viewing. And interacting with the course while you're on the go. And I always put this up here to see if anyone was actually reading. It works a little better live, but we'll try it here as well. But there's a couple features they've been working on that I wanted to talk about, just to give you a brief on how they have been moving the product in the last year. So the first one I want to talk about, which I think is a really, really great feature, is called assignment annotations. And assignment annotations is really neat because it allows an instructor simply to attach a PDF to any assignment. A student can go and then a student, when they go take that assignment, they can annotate directly on that PDF, and they can submit that assignment directly in the app. They don't need any third-party apps to be able to do that. So imagine this for math worksheets or different kinds of situations where writing directly on a worksheet is something they need to do. So I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like. So if I go here, I'm going to look at adding zeros. So I'm going to click on this assignment, and you'll see there's a PDF directly on there. I'll tap on the PDF. It'll immediately open inside the app. I can click on the top corner and edit. Pull up my little marker tool, start marking this information up. Stop edit, and then I can click the share sheet and submit the assignment. And it defaults on the assignment that you're already at, or you can change it to another assignment. And then you submit that assignment, it's submitted. And now if you move over to the submissions tab, you'll actually see that PDF, and if you tap on it, you'll see your PDF right there. So the students could immediately see what they've submitted as well. So this is really great. I didn't need any third-party applications. I just needed the Canvas app to be able to annotate on this. So next I want to talk about is full screen support for iPad. So you'll see next to the word module up here in the top, you'll see kind of two arrows that go up. And if you tap on those arrows that kind of point at each other, it will collapse whatever's on the right side. Sorry, on the left side, and give you full screen access on the iPad. Page styling updates, notably in iOS. You no longer have the gray top box at the top, and the fonts have changed a little bit as well. And with this, there's also support now for CSS, cascading style sheets, so you can style the mobile app as well. So maybe you didn't like the, maybe you don't like the blue link color. This is something you can change. Module indent support and module style updates. So you can see now that you can indent modules. You also notice that when you indent them, it doesn't kind of push everything over and put an ellipses at the end. It actually drops it down to another line. So this is really great for accessibility. So you can have really long module names. And also, if you have, let's say at the system level, you have turned on, let's say you've increased your font size, we'll increase the font size in the app as well. And you see the new icons there as well. So it's a little more streamlined. So this looks better and supports the all the module styles that you'd see on the web. File upload for quiz questions. File upload quiz questions as well. So you can do these natively now in the app. It won't bring you out to the mobile web. So you can do things that are really neat, like you can attach to OneDrive or Dropbox or iCloud Drive. And you can also do the things that you could do before, where it's taking photos and videos and uploading photos, videos, or recording audio directly into a quiz. And also support for native support for multiple drop-down quiz questions. So you can now do these natively inside the application. And last but not least, it now supports ARC. So you can use ARC assignments, and ARC assignments work natively inside the Canvas mobile app. So if you're an ARC school, you have that support now. So tools for teachers. So when I talk about the Canvas mobile app, it's always been really difficult for me to necessarily push this for teachers. to get them excited about it. I've always said there's a lot of great tools, though. I mean, you have your communications, so you have direct access to your inbox. You can post announcements, engage in discussions. There's ways you can add assignment comments and view people. And I've done a lot of Canvas live sessions that show all these things. And I still think the Canvas app, as we see today, is an excellent tool for instructors. Allows you to see organization, to-dos, and notifications, and also extending out using mobile assignments, challenging students to use their mobile application and use third-party applications to do something that's really, really unique. But for most teachers, this isn't enough. And going back to, so anyways, this isn't enough. And what I was going to add is most teachers probably feel a little bit like this. So you can see they probably just want to, give up and look at something else. So it can be a frustrating experience when you're trying to do certain things inside the app. So going back to the slide, remember we have the teacher. I want to facilitate a course. That's really important. It's one of the roles that Instructure is looking at moving forward. So to answer this, they're developing an app called Canvas Teacher. This is a completely new app that's being rebuilt. It isn't part of the apps that already exist. And the Canvas Teacher app asks this: how do I canvas more efficiently? So it's a big focus on communication and being able to communicate with their students, to be very proactive with communication, in grading and grading related activities, and course content. Better focus on course content and control of course content. It's a completely new app. This isn't an app that was redesigned. This isn't an app borrowing from other applications. This is an app that's redesigned, completely redesigned. It's completely new code. And you'll see this in the messages and announcements and discussions and the things that are shared with the Canvas app that we see today. The ability to update course content and settings. So not necessarily being able to develop your whole course. I don't think this is the focus that Instructure is looking for, but the idea of being able to update course content and really being able to have that control while you're on the go. Improve notifications. Have improved notifications that make a little bit more sense for teachers. You'll notice now, right now, in the regular app, a lot of the notifications are really great for students, but they fall a little short for teachers. So this will help improve that situation. Better tools to monitor student progress. So context cards, these beautiful context cards that you're starting to see now on the web will be moved to the mobile device as well. Message students too, so being able to identify students that are reach a certain criteria in the class. And for the first time, SpeedGrader support for the iPhone. And this is not a separate app. This is going to be completely built into Canvas Teacher. So let me show you a few screenshots. Oh yeah, I always got to forget this one. These features can change before release. So remember, anything can change. But I'm going to show you some screenshots anyways. So the first one I'm going to show you is courses. So as you can see here on the right side, you got Android, and the left side you have iOS. And the one thing that really stands out to me right now is they look pretty much the same. And one of the things that you notice right now in the regular Canvas, that red app, is that the experience is a little bit different to very different when you're using the Android device, the iOS device. So this new app is going to be a little bit easier for everyone to be able to pick up and use, a little easier to support. And that consistency is really important in this design as well. But yeah, this right here includes the course cards, course images, and gives you the ability to control your courses. You'll notice this as well in the inbox. It's very similar. Looks very similar across both. Even though they look a little different, the functionality is still basically in the same place. But your inbox, completely redesigned, has all the great things that you have now, but in a more modern, robust way. But really where you start seeing some of the changes is when you jump into assignments. So in this assignments, you can see different things like not just assignment description, but you can quickly see in these what they call pills, is how many have been ungraded. So you can quickly see, oh, I have 13 ungraded for biology and human disease. That might be really important for you to be able to see that from the top down and be able to filter through all these assignments as well. And then assignment details. So you see the assignment list and you can really get into the details. So you see a lot of great information. You don't just see the title, but you see the points and is it published, is it unpublished? And you can quickly see, when is it available from and the due dates, be able to set multiple due dates, and also the submission types. But what I really like is at the bottom, these really great graphical ways to be able to see, these submissions, have they been graded? Are they ungraded? Have they not been submitted? So imagine if you were to tap in here the day before and be able to say, okay, I noticed that 12 of my students have not submitted this assignment yet. And maybe you're having a problem with this assignment and you want to make sure students know about that. So if you tap into the submissions, you can do a few more things as well. I'll show you that in a second. But the one thing you can also do is edit assignments now. So when we went back to this page is here, you look here on the right side, you can edit all that information. So you can come in here and change the grade total, display as points. You can publish and unpublish, and do many different things. So this removes some of those pain points that you had before where maybe you said, oh, I really made a mistake. I needed to change that title. And you needed to run to a computer or you needed to try to figure out how to do it on the mobile web to be able to change these things. And this is stuff that will be much easier to do in the future. Now going back to assignment submissions I was talking about before. So let's say that you notice that someone didn't turn a submission in, or maybe they're late, or they're missing an assignment. You'll now be able to see this pretty easily. So you'll be able to see the grade and be able to see what's ungraded. And also you'll be able to filter through these. But really what's neat in the top corner when you look at this mail icon is the ability to message students who reach a certain criteria. So it's really great that you can message students that reach this criteria as well. And the context cards that I talked about before, being able to look at Tommy here, specifically, seeing their grade, seeing what's missing, and seeing what's late, and having that top-level view of their progress in the course. And last but not least, here's a quick shot of SpeedGrader. And like I said, subject to change. But here's a shot of SpeedGrader inside the app. So you have the ability to view the assignment, make a grade, add comments, and see different files as well. So as you can see within the teacher app, there's a lot of different things going on. I only scratched the surface here. I've only scratched the surface here, but there's still time for a lot of people to give really great feedback on what this application looks like. Because a lot of people are saying, when is this available? And the answer is later this year, as of right now. But there's a way that you can actually get your hands on this app pretty soon. So Canvas Teacher. Right now, Canvas Teacher is doing beta testing in the Canvas community. I have a really long URL here. I'll make sure I post all this information to the event inside of the community. So if you don't catch this, that's fine. And if you have any issues being able to find this, you can contact me or anyone in the community, any of the coaches, and we'll be able to help you get through there as well. But essentially, there's a private area inside the Canvas Teacher app. So what happens is you go and you fill out a form saying you want to be part of the beta. You decide if you want to test with iOS or Android. Put your community information in, and someone will get back to you and hopefully give you access. And then you'll be able to get in. And what's really great about this beta testing community isn't just about testing on the app, but there's a lot of great UX testing, UI testing that's going on to give feedback even before this stuff hits the application. So this is a really good time that if you're really passionate about teaching and the teacher app itself, this is a really good opportunity for you to dive in and really make a difference. So going back to this slide one more time, you look at these different roles. You got the teacher, you got the student, and you got the parent. And today I've talked about the parent app, I talked about the teacher app, but what about that student app? Well, right now, as we look at Canvas Mobile, today we have this Canvas by Instructure app. We have SpeedGrader, which kind of is we'll say the main app for a teacher if they want to do teacher-specific things. And we have the Parent app. Well, the future of Canvas will probably look a little bit like this. The Red app, as we know it, will move to more student functions. If you're a student, this is the application that you'll really want to concentrate on using. If you're a teacher, you'll use the teacher app. And of course, if you're a family or you're a parent, you would look at using the Parent app. So the idea is going back to that first image of the guy riding the bicycle and not knowing where to go. The future applications will become a lot more clear and something that you can understand. So you can look at your role and know exactly where you need to go. And with that, I'll leave it open for any questions. But also, just so you know, you can contact me many different ways. If you follow me in the Canvas community, I'll follow you back, and you can contact me for there. I have my email address, I have Twitter, LinkedIn, and I also have our mobile blog as well if you want to see some more of our mobile stuff. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to B-Rai.
Thanks, Brian. That was great. As I mentioned in the chat, please feel free to go ahead and post your questions if anybody has questions at this time for Ryan. If not, that's okay. I also posted the link there to the event page for this session. So if you have a question or you want to reach out to Ryan, you can do that as one of the other options to reach out for him. It doesn't look like there are any questions coming in, Ryan. So we'll wait a little bit longer. But again, thanks again for taking the time to do this encore presentation. It's very polished and very a lot of insight and information. So we appreciate that. Okay, well, without further ado, I think we'll go ahead and close this session up. We'll have the video link ready to go as soon as the session is completed. Brian, once again, thank you for spending your your Friday afternoon with us. I'm already thinking Saturday, apparently.
Yeah.
And everybody else who's watching or was watching with us today, thank you again for being here. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and we'll see you in another Canvas Live session.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Sure. Bye.